Hari don't you know hot cut. Oh, Sagres go road at no ten of a head could always. A 200 to what they go. No other yet the other tower. So the wind down. Anyway, your sketch knew what I got down in her. I don't have to. Lega in a what Caradeni any going district. Ne wada so ne who gets in the god of hot gets could nana caraco. What chia, Rotary hard, but cow and a castamsula. Away to Hundage. But God as a hygiene of Hundage. Don't know where gas and then I go so touch of the neck. How you get near and go noonque. Nana, how I don't look at Calaca Howard on the way I on that. Rudo, neck, your neck. Ununque, only the Gassinike, Kaini Gassinike, and only Raditi. Don't you take a such a one on the hood to take up on Eganus, I had a rock. Six what garlic. Don't you take a such no Huzaki. Second in it to need Yago you touch it. Negadine, the body, Nana over. You need Rogodago, Nana Udasma, Nana dog and a go. Today, and a go. And in the guardian under the body. Then do what genius, and then what God, huh? Jack. Then do what always gonna go how in there. And do a down there, Josara, on a down. What a good end. I'm away, I know how where I didn't. Negadina only, for this. Otherwise, going and go suta, that the way it does. Then, so today. Don't you order down and not cut a denny honey to go no ya. Then the daddy how in any Agnes was a good in a Hudade, was a gone to the Hoda go away, this is a youth to, then she hold them by youth. Then there was a good no for that when he stone Hunter. As a water only second. Well, you sketch no, the just connect and you ready your touches. The ne wrote gone and I don't have. Then a dewey. So going to go, that's a ten of the way out. Or got a snare or the heads to Hudget, but got to Hudget, you know the one. Jago is gone to eat. So you need for all you gone, says it in the Hundag. I said, in Grag, we are soon, that's a ten of the yard. Second dinner to need real. The then I go there, just start going, and I got here, and I got you know what tail. Then Uda Kruna, and she had your not a headstone on to. To know Tahina is a what got here. To know I don't hustle too hard to not forget, then also go hungry and now who died. To know any time. Now I wish Ghana young and said. Negative joke, I know tenants eat seconding on Hangu, Crowdy, no one. He's going to tell us sorry, I don't say it. I say so, then what and go 1 year now, so I say. Negative and one, and I don't have. I don't have to. I wait in the hole the guy who dog. To need your dog. So go away, wait in hole the zone. I don't know, other don't have it, no dog. Like you don't know, otherwise you're there. The 1 year that's in the hole to go away. Any guardian, the doctor, to your young to know so that only got second to do. Scanning is on there, there's a mocha, higher again, and up contract. Scanner then the what not. Then those are 10 oka or honor, and no 10 oka, 10 or harm. I got to go on it. I just like to share a few words at the end that what my last words were as we take that path and we walk down that street there, that we are not to take offense of anybody's words that are said or shout to us, because it's because they don't understand, and we have to pity them, and not to let anger or hatred or anything come in your mind, but keep that love and respect and pray for those women to be found so they can come back home again, so we can send them on that journey to the other side of the world where the Spirit is waiting for them. So keep this in your mind as we walk tonight. Dano. Aho.
Thank you to the Buffalo House Singers, and thanks very much to John Cree as well. My name is Maya. This is Gabrielle. We're both members of Missing Justice, which is a solidarity collective based here in Montreal. Missing Justice is short for Justice for Missing and Murdered Native Women. And we've been organizing this march for a couple of years now, along with events throughout the year, popular education type events around, also about this issue. We try and draw attention to the ways in which this is a systemic issue and the ways in which the government and police and the corporate media and the education system and the justice system all help to create and sustain the problem itself. So we try and engage in conversations and organize events that educate the public, and we're trying to actually work for curriculum change in high schools right now, or at least learn how to begin doing something like that. It's an honor for me to be here, surrounded by so many amazing men and women, and I just wanted to say a couple of words, and Gabrielle's gonna va le dire en français après aussi. So I don't know, it was in the news just a couple of weeks ago that Canada once again, and this is nothing new, just basically refused yet again another a call for, this time it was a UN comprehensive review into violence against Aboriginal women. But over the years, and when I say years, I mean many years, there have been just countless calls by families and communities and people who have lost mothers or daughters or sisters in their families, just for various types of inquiries and investigations. And the government has pretty much ignored all of them, while saying at the same time that it's a priority issue. So I just want to draw attention to the fact that that just happened again. And so it's just all the more reason to keep having these marches, and to keep educating people and to keep talking out about what this alarming rate of violence that keeps happening and affecting one portion of the people living on this land way more than anyone else. I mean, I think that one person is one woman, one girl, way too many already. But the levels of violence are so imbalanced compared with everyone else that you have to, anyone of any gender, race, or background should be very concerned when it's happening this unevenly. Bridget Tolley, who unfortunately couldn't be here tonight, founded this March and Vigil, the Sisters in Spirit March and Vigil for Missing and Murdered Native Women, 8 years ago. And it happens every year now on the anniversary of her, the death of her mother, Gladys Tolley, who was killed by Sûreté de Québec police officers. She couldn't be here tonight. She's actually attending the vigil in Ottawa, which is happening at the same time. She often tries to make both when they happen at different times, but so she's here with us tonight in spirit as well. To this year, there's been a record-breaking number of vigils and marches registered across Canada. It started out in 2006 with only 11 vigils. Not only, but 11 vigils, and now we're up to over 216 vigils this year. And that's not, this is in spite of the fact, and maybe even, in spite of the fact that Sisters in Spirit lost all its funding in 2010 when the government decided to cut that funding. And also, not only are the vigils happening in Canada, but this year there's a couple in the US, there's one in Malaysia, there's one in Peru, there's one in Australia. So it's just, clearly this is to me, that says two things. One, that there's really strong international solidarity around the issues that contribute to violence against Native women. But also, this is not an issue that only affects Canada. All colonized nations worldwide, all countries founded on blood, which as countries are, Native women continue to experience the brunt of the ongoing colonial violence worldwide, here and in other countries. So I think that's one of the reasons that these vigils are starting to happen all over the world. So I just want to...
Got it right. You said the true way.
I think that's all I've got to say right now. Gabrielle va dire tout ce que je viens de dire en français, mais when the speakers are actually speaking, we have some French and some in English, but there's probably a few more in English. And we're going to have Stéphanie. Can you raise your hand? Si quelqu'un a besoin de traduction chuchotée, if anyone needs whispered translation to one language or another, from French to English or English to French, while the speakers are happening, you can go stand near Stéphanie and she will tell you what's being said in the other language, because she has superpowers. And now Gabrielle.
I can explain it in my own language.
Bonsoir et bienvenue à la 8e marche annuelle commémorative en mémoire des femmes autochtones assassinées et disparues. On vous remercie grandement de votre présence ici ce soir. Donc, mon nom est Gabrielle et je suis membre du groupe Missing Justice, ou en français Justice pour les femmes autochtones disparues et assassinées. On est un groupe de solidarité basé ici à Montréal et on organise cette marche depuis quelques années déjà. En plus d'organiser différents événements d'éducation populaire autour de cet enjeu systémique et la manière par laquelle la police, les médias, le système judiciaire, le gouvernement et le système d'éducation contribuent tous à créer ce problème. Comme vous avez peut-être vu récemment dans l'actualité, le gouvernement canadien continue de rejeter les appels de l'ONU pour une vaste enquête nationale sur la condition des femmes autochtones au Canada, qui aurait pour objectif de mettre un terme à cette violence. Ce refus se répète maintenant depuis plusieurs années, non seulement face à des demandes de l'ONU, mais également aux familles, communautés, activistes et organisations qui ont fait plusieurs demandes pour des enquêtes sur le taux de violence alarmant envers les filles et les femmes autochtones. L'Association des femmes autochtones du Canada a notamment fourni des preuves pour au moins 600 cas de disparition depuis 1980 et certaines organisations, dont le groupe de Vancouver Walk for Justice, estiment que le chiffre réel serait plutôt de 3000 cas. Il y a 2 semaines, l'ambassadeur du Canada à l'ONU a ignoré les recommandations faites par plusieurs pays d'instaurer une enquête nationale sur la violence envers les femmes autochtones et a simplement répondu que le Canada était fier de son dossier en matière de droits humains et de notre société paisible et diverse. Cette marche éveil annuelle à laquelle vous assistez ce soir a été fondée il y a 8 ans par Bridget Tolley et elle se déroule maintenant à chaque année à l'anniversaire de la mort de sa mère Gladys Tolley, qui a été tuée par des officiers de la Sûreté du Québec. Malheureusement, Bridget ne pouvait pas être ici avec nous ce soir parce qu'elle était à Ottawa. Cette marche éveil a donc commencé en 2006 avec seulement 11 marches à travers le Canada. Et elle a pris d'ampleur à chaque année depuis, en dépit des coupes du gouvernement fédéral dans le financement de Sisters in Spirit. Cette année, un record a de nouveau été battu, puisque plus de 216 marches sont organisées aujourd'hui, avec de plus en plus au Canada, avec de plus en plus de marches qui ont lieu également à l'international. Des marches sont notamment organisées aujourd'hui au Pérou, en Malaisie, aux États-Unis et en Australie. Ça démontre non seulement une solidarité internationale, mais également que la violence envers les femmes autochtones est une réalité persistante et sociale commune à toutes les nations communisées du monde, incluant le Canada. Comment un pays est fondé sur la violence, comme le sont toutes les nations issues de la colonisation, les communautés autochtones, en particulier les femmes autochtones, sont les premières à subir cette violence. Et elles vont continuer à subir jusqu'à ce que tous ceux qui vivent aujourd'hui sur le territoire national décident de changer cette réalité. Chaque personne, peu importe sa race, sa classe sociale ou son genre, devrait donc se sentir profondément concernée lorsqu'un groupe en particulier est aussi disproportionnellement victime d'une violence quotidienne. Donc, comme Maya l'a dit, il va y avoir de la traduction chuchotée juste ici, si jamais des gens ont besoin de la traduction de l'anglais au français ou du français vers l'anglais. Et j'inviterai maintenant la première personne, Aurélie Arnaud, des femmes autochtones du Québec. Aurélie Arnaud, from Quebec Native Women.
Merci, Nyawa, à la nation Mohawk de nous accueillir sur leur territoire. Merci à vous tous et toutes d'être ici ce soir. Ça fait 6 ans que Femmes autochtones du Québec participent à la marche à la vigile du 4 octobre. Et ce soir, j'espérais ne pas être ici. J'espérais être au chaud chez moi avec mes enfants. Comme j'espérais que toutes les femmes puissent être ce soir chez elles au chaud avec leurs enfants, en sécurité, que toutes nos sœurs, nos mères, nos filles autochtones puissent se sentir en sécurité chez elles sans avoir à craindre pour leur sécurité. Mais cette année, encore une fois, on est ici. On est ici parce que 632 femmes ne semblent pas être un nombre assez élevé pour que le gouvernement bouge et prenne des mesures nécessaires. Et même si ce nombre date déjà de plusieurs années, et que depuis, il ne se passe presque pas un mois sans qu'à Femmes autochtones du Québec, on n'entende pas parler d'une femme qui a disparu, qui a été assassinée, une sœur au Canada, disparue dans la violence de l'indifférence générale. Alors que faut-il faire pour que ce gouvernement bouge? Que faut-il faire pour que ce gouvernement bouge? Même au Conseil des droits de l'homme des Nations Unies, le gouvernement du Canada lui dit « on s'en fout ». Que faut-il faire pour que ce gouvernement bouge? Il applique la même politique mise en œuvre depuis des centaines d'années, celle de l'indifférence, celle du silence. Ça fait combien d'années que la violence et l'injustice déciment les nations autochtones de ce territoire et que le gouvernement attend que ces nations disparaissent. Et attend en utilisant qui? En utilisant les femmes, en les faisant disparaître juridiquement par la loi, puis en les faisant disparaître dans le sang et l'indifférence. Alors que faut-il faire pour que ce gouvernement bouge? Eh bien, nous sommes ici ce soir, et chaque année, depuis 8 ans, nous sommes ici de plus en plus nombreux. C'est incroyable de vous voir, de voir cette place remplie de monde. Il y a 6 ans, on était juste ensemble, on pouvait compter sur les doigts d'une main et des pieds. Et bien maintenant, on est plusieurs centaines, et c'est comme ça que le gouvernement va bouger. En étant ici, ensemble, chaque année, plus fort, on vient d'horizons diversifiés de plus en plus loin. Alors, merci aux médias d'être ici, merci de parler de nous, merci aussi de respecter les familles quand elles sont en deuil. Et merci à vous tous de parler de nous, de parler de ces femmes, de porter leur message aux 4 coins de la Grande Tortue, parce que c'est comme ça que nous ferons bouger le gouvernement. Nous voulons une commission d'enquête nationale pour que le silence ne soit plus le silence. Mais nous voulons aussi un plan d'action national pour que ce ne soit plus juste les coupables qui soient pointés, mais que l'on trouve des solutions. Et on veut que l'on parle de nous, et on veut que les femmes soient chez elles avec leurs enfants en sécurité. Merci.
Talking in English, I explain, I recognize that what our brother Robert in English. All right.
Merci, Aurélie. I would like to call Norman Achnepanescum from the Buffalo Hat Singers.
Thank you, everyone. You know, when I go to a hospital or to a clinic and they ask for my name to be next and I hear it on the loudspeaker, I hear, Norman. So anyway, just want to let you know, I'm an Ojibwe Cree native from Northern Ontario near Thunder Bay. I lived in this part of the world since 1992. I had to leave my community to help myself, and I spent the last over 20 years, looking for myself and trying to help myself, because when I was living over there in Pays Plat, small community, only 60 people, 80 people, there was a lot of alcoholism, and a lot of abuse and a lot of battered women and battered men and battered children and abused women and abused children and abused men. So there's abuse all around. It all started, colonization, residential schools, government banning our culture. We didn't have our medicine, we didn't have our drums, we didn't have our spiritual belief and our right to practice our culture. So we were herded on a reserve, like all Native people were herded on reserves. And the reserves were places where it was not a fertile land. You couldn't really grow things on there. You couldn't make sure it was not worth anything. They made sure there was no gold and there was no diamonds and there was no oil or whatever. So it was like the leftover land place. In my language, Ishkunaganing. Ishkunaganing means the leftover land place, the land that nobody wanted. That's where Native people lived. So, having lost our children to residential schools, they were not able to parent because they were gone at the age of 5 or 6. They were gone for 10 months of the year. In some cases, the Mohawks in this territory here, they were gone for 10 years. They were sent to Chingwak and Spanish out in Western Ontario. And they didn't come back until they're like 16 years old or 18 years old. So the culture, the language, the spiritual belief, everything was lost. And they were not able to parent their children properly. Like my parents, they were not able to parent us properly. And my siblings were not able to parent their children properly. They were not even proud to teach their language to their children. So many of my nephews and nieces, they don't even talk our language. They're too embarrassed to talk our language, or they just don't know how. Fortunately for me, I was able to learn my language because I grew up at home. So a lot of times in Thunder Bay,